This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scary situation in Lakers Timberwolves. We're about to discuss. Everything seems to be okay, though. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. This is Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. First half not quite over yet. We're looking at a minute 28. Loose ball. Anthony Edwards and LeBron diving for it. Edwards' foot gets caught under LeBron on the way down. Edwards laid on the court for a while, seemed to be in a lot of pain, did get off under his own power, go to the bench, and now he's at the free throw line shooting some foul shots. But he has a noticeable limp. He doesn't seem to be 100%, but smiles on his face, and he makes the first free throw, which ties the game up with just under 90 seconds to go in the half. But it looked like for a moment, Will, we could have had a catastrophic moment for the Timberwolves and their chances in this series where Edwards was down for a minute.
Yeah, he went down like he was mortally wounded. Then he hopped back to his feet, and he's fine a minute later. I would attack Edwards, as the Timberwolves have their first lead in a long time, at least from what I've been watching. I've had my eye on this game pretty well. A 7-0 run in the last minute. I would go at him because, like you said, he was limping. Test him, see how he is defensively. He's already got a couple fouls called him on, I believe. He's been very physical with LeBron and vice versa. So that's one, if you're the Lakers, where see who he's guarding and see if that knee is really okay, and try to make him guard and go laterally and handle that as the T-Wolves here get the ball up one and have a chance to go into the lead here, into the half of the lead, which bad job by the Lakers. They've controlled this first half, most of this first half. To go in trailing would be a blow here psychologically, if nothing else.
Yep, and Minnesota does get a bucket, a lefty layup. Looked like, was that Conley on the layup? No, who was that? Was it Conley?
I think it was.
And it's 58-55. They're now laying 1.5. And, well, the Lakers are about to score here, Will. Sorry to blow up the future for you, but the Lakers are about to score here and tie it up on a 3. Who is it, though? Because I'm looking at my sportsbook app, and we're tied up. It must be LeBron, because Minnesota is now a 1.5-point favorite, and that's Hachimura for 3, and it's good. And at the half, it is 61-58, Minnesota up on the Lakers. Let's find the halftime line. Looking over at DraftKings, and I don't have it up. Yep, here we go. And in the second half, oh, you know what? Minnesota with enough time for a rebuttal, and Randall hits a 3. Never mind.
Yeah, you just said the score was 61-58. I was like, wait, you didn't realize.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was that far ahead.
Two together.
All right.
You catch on slow.
Well, when you're the one reading it out loud in the moment, sometimes you don't realize what you're saying. I'm very Ron Burgundy over here. 61-58, Minnesota leads. And in the second half, the Lakers are laying a half. Second half total is 100.5. I think I'd go second half total over.
I would just look towards the T-Wolves. I hate from the fact that, from a Lakers standpoint, I got 22 from LeBron, 21 from Luka, and I'm still losing by 3 after leading for most of the half. I think Minnesota, let's say, puts the knockout punch because, again, when you're down 3-1 and you're the home team and you're the higher seed, you get 5, and then all of a sudden all you got to do is win 6, and you get a 7th at home. But Minnesota here could really take control if they win this game. I do get the sense Minnesota wins this game, so I would take the half a point here with the T-Wolves.
Julius Randle, leading scorer in the first half for the Timberwolves, 21 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Anthony Edwards, 19, 4, and 4 for the Lakers. LeBron, the leading scorer, 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. And Luka Doncic, 21 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal in the first half. Look, I'm not going to accuse him of anything, but whatever supplements LeBron James takes, I feel like should be available to the public because he's on something. Because how he does this at this age just is inexplicable. 22 points in the first half and 7 rebounds. I mean, he's an absurd specimen.
That he is. And look, Duncan did it to a late age. Brady did it to a late age. I think we'll get to a point here where these guys, the conditioning's better, the science is better, diets and stuff is better, where these guys are going to generally be better later in their career. But yeah, what he's doing is just is remarkable. I don't know that he's ever getting another one, though. The fact that he's got Luka maybe gives him a chance, but this is not a title roster. It's Luka, it's LeBron. Reeves is a good player, but he's got weaknesses defensively, and there's not a lot else besides that. So I was surprised, and I talked about this before this year. I was shocked how many people picked the Lakers. It was consensus Lakers. Like I think it was 22 people at the worldwide leader who picked the series. And they all picked the Lakers. I ultimately picked them in 7, but my bet was Minnesota plus the game and a half. I just thought this was more of a coin toss than that price indicated. I thought there was a major Laker tax.
I just also think they're like, of the interesting teams in the West, they are the most flawed, right? The one that you kind of can rely on the least. Because Denver, while they have tons of flaws defensively, they still have Jokic, right, who can carry them.
Sure.
And we've seen that core win a title.
What a performance that was yesterday. Oh, my goodness. What an all-time performance
that game, that actually might end up being an all-time series. It might already be an all-time series. But I have to tell you, I went into this not having really watched the Clippers a ton at full strength because, what was there, like 30 games this year when they played at full strength?
Yeah.
The Clippers at full strength, they are the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the West. I think they have so much that the Thunder should be scared about, especially late in games with the options they have offensively. I think Zubac could be a big mismatch for them just with his ability to control the paint, the rebounding, the defense. He's added an offensive game. But Kawhi Leonard and Harden, the way they can run that offense, and Powell becoming an elite three-point shooter. Bogdanovich had a couple big plays yesterday. Like, the Clippers are a scary team when they play to their full strength.
Had a chance to put that series away yesterday. Yeah. Now look, I would still slightly favor them because I think they've got more than Denver, and there's so much on Jokic, and Denver's kind of beat up, and now you're going to go, I think, every other day in this series too. But, boy, you had a chance to put it away. Now you're talking about a situation where you're 2-2, 5's away, 7's away. Let me just ask you, who do you think wins this series and how many games?
I think
it feels destined for 7.
I think we're going 7. Because the second one of the teams like exhales a little, the other one takes advantage. So I do think we're going. God, my under, by the way, in Carolina, New Jersey, it's dead. We're at 5 goals early in the second. The series had no offense, and this game, all of a sudden, they just come out and everyone's scoring. Goalies can't stop anything. I think it's going 7 just because, one, Denver's really not reliable, right? That is a problem here that we have to acknowledge. As much as I want them to make a title run, they're not really reliable. The Clippers, they have their moments. We just never know also with Kawhi's knee how that's holding up because that knee is probably the most important body part in the NBA right now. Let's hear from Nikola Jokic because that end of the game on the alley-oop, reporters asked him after the game, was that a shot or was that a pass for the win?
They're calling this the first playoff buzzer-beating dunk in NBA history. What does it feel like to make a shot like that?
It's a nice pass.
Yes.
So, Joker, was it a pass?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I love it. He was asked, was it a pass? No, it wasn't. I mean, very clearly was a shot that was way off because it was just a horrible off-balance desperation heave. But Aaron Gordon with the putback, it felt like in the moment you could have called it either way. They called it in, so they stick with the call. I still think it was the right call. I thought it was the right call because if you look, hands in the cylinder, it looks like it's just barely out of his hand, but if they would have called it the other way, I wouldn't have been outraged either.
I've seen it probably a dozen times.
Don't have a clue.
I still haven't seen a definitive angle where you see the light and the ball off the fingers or whatever. It's so close that you had to go with what you called. I think, and this isn't the right way to think about it, analyze it, tie goes to whatever's the coolest. That was such a cool play. The ball's in the net. I'm okay with it. It was so cool that let it count. And you know what? Makes for a longer series. So, again, not the proper way to analyze it. I don't know when you call it a bucket. I don't know how you possibly overturn it.
Yeah, but look, I've come away with that series so far. My general thought is that the Clippers are the better team. The Clippers are just a better team.
I agree.
They have so many more options. They have so much more depth. They're better defensively. And that was a spot in a late game where Denver got them. But I do trust the Clippers in crunch time. I feel like from an X's and O's perspective, you just have a versatile way of attacking a really bad Denver defense. But I totally agree with you as well. It's going 7. By the way, if you want to know where the money is going, you got to go to VSiN.com. Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight where the sharp action is landing. Circa takes big bets from the pro bettors, DraftKings gives you a national, broader perspective. That means you're getting real action, not just public money, but the kind of wagers that moves lines. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle of every game across every major sport. It'll help you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's summer special right now for $59 until August 1st. All you have to do is go to vsin.com/subscribe. Let's get you updated.
One thing quickly.
Yeah.
I was just going to say we should probably mention this. If you had the Lakers in the first half getting a point and a half or two, I mean, you're up 10, you're up 6 with a couple minutes left. To lose that by 3, especially you're tied with whatever, a second or two left, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is. At that point, though, if you're doing that, you gotta find a way to get a little bit down, right? On Minnesota, you have a 10-point lead. I feel like you have to take advantage of that. I guess.
I mean, some people just don't believe in hedging. Then if you lose your hedge, why did I give some of my bet away? To get in points in the first half. I'm up 10. I'm in good shape. I'm just going to try to cash it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Should have been a rocking chair. Unfortunately, it was not. As LeBron is 1 foot into his rocking chair era in life, he ends up doing you dirty there. Does as much as he can, but in the end, Minnesota with the lead at the break, and the Lakers are half-point dogs. Minnesota laying a half-point. Second half total's been bet up, opened 100 and a hook. We're now at 101 and a hook. I still like the over there. I think we're going to get a ton of points in the second half. We'll look more at that game, the later NBA slate, and all of Major League Baseball next on Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Boom shakalaka. It's Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Dustin Swedelson, hanging out with Will Hill here for the next couple hours as we've got baseball, we've got basketball, we've got hockey. Technically, we have football, but look, as degenerates as we are, Will, I still don't bet the UFL. Is it the UFL? Is it the XFL? Is it the AAF? I don't know what it's called anymore. Spring football.
AAF.
Spring football, RIP. Spring football, the UFL is on right now. Houston has 18. Not sure how that happens. Houston has 18. San Antonio has 3. Did you have any pre-flop bets on this one?
No, I was going to attack it more live in game.
Yeah.
No, look, I actually bet these leagues a lot when they would start right after the Super Bowl, because that's when there's some meat on the bone. That's where there's a window where we're craving football. It's not college basketball tournament yet. It's kind of the dog days of college hoops. We miss football. The weekends are open. It's a dead time of the sports year. That Valentine's Day weekend until the start of conference tournament. They just started too late. You go up against April, you're going against NBA playoffs and the Masters and baseball. They started too late. I have a hard time believing these leagues are ever going to succeed. I really do.
No.
And by the way,
yeah.
When people say biased media, they are not just, it's not a general term. They're talking about my co-host here, Dustin Swedelson. We're doing these live bet shows. We're updating this game and that game. His Mets blow a game, and he somehow sweeps it under the rug. Thank God Scott, our great listener here, points it out. In all seriousness, there's a lot going on. Late 4 o'clock games, early 1 o'clock games, NBA, NHL. That is a bad loss by the Mets.
No, look, I didn't pay attention to the game today. I was busy doing other stuff. The Knicks game was on. I just kept checking. I was all right, my boy Tyler McGill, 9 strikeouts again. He has been filthy to start the season.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, cool. The Mets are up. They were up 7-1 in the 5th. Cool. Washington drops 5 in the 7th. Even then, I'm like, you know what? We're still going to be fine. They're up 1. 9th inning coming. I just assumed the Mets finished the job and won the game. Looking now, it looks like Ryan Stanek came in and blew it. 1 earned run, 2 runs allowed, so there must have been an error there late in the game, and the Mets lose to the Nationals. That is a bad loss. I'm sorry. I know they're 19-9. I know that they're first in the NL East, but the whole thing, when you have that lead and you just swept the Phillies, you can't lose 2 or 3 to the Nationals. That's not part of the plan here for the Mets.
Long season, you're going to have games like that, but that's a bad one. That's a bad one, I would agree.
Yeah, don't love to see it. We do love to see Julius Randle, though, where he's at right now. 21-4-5 as the Timberwolves lead the Lakers 61-58. And your halftime number, Minnesota. laying a half, 101.5 is your total. Minus 120 on the money line, minus 110 on the Lakers for the second half there, Will. But I think you're not going to make it an official play, are you?
No, but if I was going to bet it, I'd bet Minnesota.
Update in Arizona, the Braves once again threatening against Brandon Pfaadt with 2 outs. It's the 5th. I have under, I believe, 4.5 in this one. I have to look. Under, where are the Braves? Great radio.
You got 3-1, top of the 5th, man.
3-1, top of the 5th, man on second, 2 outs. I need Brandon Pfaadt to get out of this thing. So this is a big at-bat with Austin Riley at the dish, who's 1 of 2 on the day. And he's being carefully pitched to with Pfaadt ahead in the count now, 1-2. I'd like to cash my under here, but I don't love the heart of the Braves order is up right now, and they've kind of been locked in over the last week or so. And Riley's going to ground out to Suarez. That's big. Now I just need Schwellenbach to step up and limit Arizona in the bottom of the inning, and we will cash that one. Our Dodgers play looking good, although they're still up 5-2 in the 4th, 2 out. Mookie's at the dish. I'd like to cash that thing early because sometimes you get worried with these team totals, Will. Team has a lead, and they just let off the gas, but it's still the Dodgers, and it's still Bailey Falter on the hill. We should be able to plate one more here and cash a plus money over 5.5 on the Dodgers, but I do get nervous when we score a lot of runs early and just kind of chill for the rest of the game.
Yep, for sure. Especially, I mean, your handicap is the Dodgers offense against Falter. That's why I always preach and try to bet these first 5 team totals. You're really isolating your handicap. You're not worried about the bullpen. You're not worried about, any in other markets, extra innings or different variables. It's just more straightforward. This lineup versus this pitcher, and if you were able to have a book that has first half team totals, you were able to cash that one in the second inning. And now you have to, even though you're in good position, you still have to sweat it out and plate 2 more. And you start to run out of outs quickly. Now you still got the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, but not having that 9th is just a bad feeling. Is a better knowing. It feels like the clock is ticking, the walls are closing in on you.
Yeah, team totals, laying the 1.5. You want to avoid the home teams because you get one last at bat if they're winning. Looks like my Rangers play first 5 hanging in the balance right now. Leiter's been taken out of the game. First start since the blisters in early April. He goes 76 pitches, 3 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 4 walks, which is concerning, and 3 strikeouts. Texas up bottom 4, 2 outs, runner on third for the Giants right now. Latz is in. Latz recorded an out, but the Giants still have a runner on third. I am a little bit concerned. I know nothing about Latz. I'm trying to look it up. And, of course, he's a lefty, and that San Francisco lineup has guys like Matt Chapman and Wilmer Flores and Helio Ramos who just kill left-handed pitching. So I don't love to see that, and we're tied up. We're tied up at 2.
Yeah, we are.
Bottom 4. Don't love that. Don't. By the way, did you know this?
It started with a very cheap infield single, too.
Always.
13 hopper to the third baseman. He barehands it, throws to first. It's barely beat out, and those just have a habit of coming back to haunt you.
Also, did you know this? The Giants are one of the baseball teams that Vegas residents are blacked out from watching on MLB TV.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't watch the Giants. I can't watch the Diamondbacks. I think I can watch the Angels. Cool. Thanks, Manfred.
Congrats.
I appreciate the hook up there. Can't watch the Dodgers. I don't think it's a freaking mess out here.
Not good.
So yeah, that's where we stand now. We're going to need the Rangers offense to step up, and I'm not hopeful because the whole handicap was I thought Leiter would go deeper in the game than Jordan Hicks. So that is the issue with that bet there. Got to be transparent when things are going wrong. Hey, do you want to bet smarter, not louder? All you got to do is check out the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com. It's where real bettors go to get ahead. Most of the betting world, it's just noise, people. Chasing steam, copying picks, recycling the same old value plays. They're not sharp, they're just parrots. The Sharp Plays is the source they're echoing. Since 2011, it's been locked in on what the real pros are betting. Elite group, sharp money, the kind that actually moves markets. When the Sharp Play jumps on a side, the line reacts every time. With insider info, powerful AI tools, you're not guessing, you're getting ahead. Sign up for free betting reports, real-time alerts, and next-level intel via email or on X. And don't take anyone's word for it. Check the receipts. Full betting logs are live on the site. So why follow the crowd when you could lead it? Visit sharpplays.com. Respected, watched, and feared. That's the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. It's Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We mentioned everything going on in sports, Will. We did fail to mention big NASCAR race, Talladega. I know you're locked in on the NASCAR, but Talladega is one of the fun ones because it's a restrictor plate super speedway, and it's where there's a lot of drafting. So anyone in the field could essentially win this race if there's a big wreck on the end. Like guys like Michael McDowell, who you've never heard of, wins at super speedways. It is a fun race. I kind of wish I would have bet on it today, but have not been locked into the NASCAR like I have been in years past.
First of all, how dare you? I do know Michael McDowell, so I will expect a retraction and an apology.
The singer or the
yes.
NASCAR
Did they start yet? Can we bet it? I'll throw it. Is there a long shot? I'll throw it.
It's on right now. Let's see if there's something. Can we do something in race? I think that's worth looking at here. Logano is the favorite at plus 650. He must be in the lead. Cindric at 10-1 is interesting. Byron's good at restrictor plates. Now I want to go deeper. Let's go deeper. That's what she said. I want to go deeper down the field. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 20-1. He's won at Talladega before. It is a crapshoot, but some guys do know these restrictor plate races a little bit better. Austin Dillon is a guy at 25-1 I'd think about as well. So my old NASCAR knowledge coming to play here. Did you know I covered NASCAR for 3 seasons, Will? 3 seasons.
I didn't know this. There's so much I don't know about you.
Multi-time award-winning producer for NASCAR coverage. Yeah, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, 3 seasons, and it was enough. I got my fill for my life. It's a cool world. It's a traveling circus. Like, they go to all the events together. Like, it's all the same people.
Yeah.
It just, like, after a while, it got monotonous. It was like, okay, I know these drivers are good here. It's the same races, the same time of year on the schedule. Since then, they've mixed it up a little, and they've changed it with, like, stage racing. So I think it's gotten a little more interesting. But it was cool the first couple of years. By the 3rd year, I was like, yeah, I know how this works. I know this person is going to be good here. This person's going to be good there. Well, our next guest is good everywhere. Ed Egros does analytics. He's going to have some really sharp bets for us when it comes to hockey. I know he has a team he's eyeing later tonight, and of course a bunch of baseball. He also has some analysis for us when it comes to Sunday Night Baseball. Cubs host the Phillies, interesting matchup. We'll discuss all of that and more on the other side of the break of Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here, it's Live Bet Sunday. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson, and I'm excited for our next conversation here. I've been following this guy on Twitter for a long time, and he puts out great information. First time actually getting to talk with him here. He is Ed Egros, and he joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. You know him from FanDuel Sports Network West and at Ed with Sports on Twitter. Thanks for doing this today, man. I'm really interested in getting your insight on some of the hockey coming up. I'm not an NHL guy. Neither is Will. We need to outsource these things to smarter people. And right now I'm getting killed. I had first period under in Carolina, New Jersey. I'm also under 5.5 for the game. Third period hasn't started. We're at 5. Feels like I'm going to get done in by an empty netter. So I need your expertise here because there is another hockey game coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes. The Caps on the road in Montreal. I've not seen updates on the goalie situations, but both goalies got injured last game. Plus 114 on Montreal, minus 135 on Washington, total 6.5. Just your general thoughts on the matchup today.
I think one of the more underrated aspects, certainly you mentioned the goalie situation, and that is definitely something worth monitoring in these next several minutes. But I think the forward depth for Montreal is really underrated. You look at how they're tweaking that second and third line. I like some of those coaching moves that they're making here. And I get there's this kind of romanticism in general when it comes to the Capitals because of Alex Ovechkin and all that stuff. But I would not look past Montreal here. I feel like that they can win this game outright because eventually these waves of forwards that keep coming in, I think eventually they're going to break through in a game like this one. So I would take them on the money line at plus 114. I think there's some good value there.
And how about the game tonight? The Oilers and Kings. Oilers about a -140 favorite for the game. Kings still a -220 favorite for the series. Anything in either the game or the series interest you? Total is at 6.5. At 6.5 here for this one.
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that my bias isn't showing. I don't want that to happen here. Look, I know the coaching decision from the last game. We heard a lot of hyperbole about, well, Jim Harbaugh doesn't know what he's doing because why would you challenge that goaltending call? And so it does seem like that people are now just blowing this whole thing up just because the Kings, made a dubious decision in terms of a challenge. But we gotta slow our roll here. I feel like that the biggest difference between the Kings in this series versus the last three against the Oilers is just special teams. Like, the penalty kill is fantastic and the power play is unbelievable. And so I think that the Kings can win this one. But as far as bets that I really like, I think a lot of this has to do with finding those skaters who are going to score on the power play, because I think the Kings can be so good at it. So Kevin Fiala to score a point at -142, I think is a good bet. Top 25 in expected goals in the power play all season long. He will contribute, assuming it's another high-scoring affair. Also, Quentin Byfield to score a point. I believe I saw that at -120. That's another one that I'm very tempted to pull the trigger on. Again, the special teams are what's making a difference here. I feel like the Kings can still win this series, and they should be just fine going forward.
Ed Egros with us on the Progressive Guest Line at Ed with Sports over on Twitter. First round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Ed, which means everyone's kind of in play when it comes to the Conn Smythe at this point. So you can get some bigger numbers out there, and as we go on, things will shorten up as fewer and fewer teams and players are options. Conn Smythe given to the best player in the Stanley Cup playoffs. When you look at that market right now, is there anyone we should be thinking about getting down on at this point?
The way that I look at this is I start with teams and say, okay, you got to make it to the final. So start there and then look for your stars within those teams that can make the final. And I think that one team, this isn't just based on series lead right now, but they could very well be the best team in the East, and that is the Toronto Maple Leaf. They may finally get off the schneid because I think the forward depth, which is always been there, I think it's on another level right now. I do think that Toronto can at least make the final. And so I'm looking at their skaters. Austin Matthews at 29-1 seems really intriguing. Second on the team in expected goals per money puck. Been great at both ends, tallying a good number of assists, also blocking some crucial shots. I'd start there. Mitch Marner, or Big Game Mitch, as the kids call him, at 30-1. He may be another option there, but I would definitely start with Matthews if you're looking at that market.
Ed, let's switch over to baseball. Phillies and Cubs, two teams maybe heading in different directions. What do you think of the game tonight, Nola and Tyone? And big picture, have the Phillies missed their window? Are you concerned about them? And are the Cubs legit? Are they a serious contender here in the National League?
Well, I'll start with the Cubs and say absolutely they are legit. There's so many things to like about them in terms of overall lineup depth. The pitching, I think, is taking another step forward. And I really like this matchup for them tonight. Aaron Nola for the Phillies, he's never had a fast four-seamer, and it's why he tends to go to his sinker a little bit more, which normally is fine, but I think he's starting to lose a little bit of control. And I have some real concerns about him. Maybe not so much about the Phillies in general. They can still win the NL East, but I am concerned about the pitching situation for Philadelphia here. Walk rate for Nola has skyrocketed. Hitters are making good contact, pulling his deliveries. So as far as a bet that I like in this game, I want to go after a Cubs hitter who's going to dominate sinkers and four-seamers. And I think Seiya Suzuki to go 2+ total bases. This is one that I like a lot. Saw him at +155 at one spot at last check. He's showing as much power as anyone. I think he's one of the big reasons why the Cubs have been so formidable all season long, and they could very well pull away at a minimum at this division. But definitely for tonight, Suzuki should take care of business. And I do think that as far as the game is concerned, the Cubs, Jameson Taillon, yeah, it's a tough lineup he's going up against, but I like his stuff right now. The Cubs are a slight favorite. I think that's a good reason. So I would take them on the money line here.
Love it. I'm actually on the Cubs team total over 3.5. Nola 1's been bad this year, Ed, but also has been historically bad his whole career on the road. Over a 5 ERA at Wrigley Field. It's just a bad recipe for him right now, and he just doesn't have his good stuff. Now, I mentioned at the start, I followed you on Twitter for a long time. You put out great information. I know you do a lot of analytics work. Our audience here, they're all different types of bettors. Everyone has a different approach, but I think when it comes to the analytics, people want to learn how to evolve as a bettor. If you can give some tips to someone, if they were starting to look more at analytics, let's stay with baseball right now. What are like 2 or 3 big key targets when it comes to your handicap in the analytics world?
I think the first thing that you want to do is try and look up the newest information. Sometimes these things involve building blocks, and so you may have to learn some additional lessons on the fly. But StatCast has been just phenomenal. Baseball Savant is a great resource. I would certainly start there. If you're looking to bookmark some websites, go to them frequently. Definitely start at Baseball Savant. Maybe work your way to Fangraphs as well, and see what the newest information out there happens to be. Because I think sometimes when we're getting into the betting markets, we get into our routines, right? We're looking at, your advanced stats when it comes to expected batting average and WOBA and all of that good stuff. I think pretty much everyone, if you're into analytics, you already know what that stuff is. But the question is, okay, when you're looking at batting stances, for instance, and, spin rate on pitches and, newer things that are coming out, the question is, how do you incorporate that into your knowledge? And I think we are a little slow when it comes to that information. So if you can try and gain an edge when it comes to just learning more about the new tools that are out there, I think that'll go a long way for you.
I love it. He is Ed Egros. You can follow him over on Twitter at EdWithSports. We appreciate you doing this, man. We'd love to chat again down the road.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Good stuff. Good stuff there.
Thanks, Ed.
I like the backing of Tyon tonight. He's right. He's like a pitcher who you lived it as a Yankee fan, Will. He can be frustrating at times, but there's stuff. He's a big guy. And I think he has an edge tonight against, Aaron Nola, who he's getting hit around hard. I mean, Kyle Tucker's another guy I think about from a prop perspective for total bases. I think Tucker has really good lifetime numbers against him. 3 of 9, 2 homers and a double. He's hitting .316 against righties this year. Tucker's a guy I'd think about in that Sunday night baseball game, but I love the Cubs team total. I was hands up, wrong about that team. I thought the Cubs were going to be so overrated. Then they lost Justin Steele for the year. They're pretty legit, and that Central kind of stinks.
They're good. I kind of lean towards Philly just because I trust Nola's pedigree as I'm trying to get this first 5 under home. You know how it goes. You're trying to nurse these things home. You just got to will it home. 2-2, 2 outs in the 5th. So I'm 1 out away. Nobody on base. It was 2-1 in the first with the bases loaded. And with 1 out in the bases loaded. So I thought this was going to be a loser. We're hopefully going to get this one home. But yeah, I lean towards the Philly just because I do think Nola's going to pitch better at some point. It's funny, his last start out against the Mets, Soto looked like took him deep for a 3-run homer. Looked like it was going to be a brutal outing. They called it foul. He really settled in and pitched well after. We'll see if that turns his season around. Just to clean some things up as we do get out of it. 6th inning, we head to in San Francisco 2 apiece. That's why taking these half runs in these first 5 is so valuable. The under gets home. And by the way, Teoscar Hernandez, we talked about he has good numbers against Bailey Falter. He hit one to the moon to make it 6-2. Your team total cashes, and Hernandez goes deep.
And then Andy Pages just went deep. It's now 8-2 Dodgers.
There you go.
Pages was another guy I mentioned. Kills lefties, good numbers against Falter.
I know.
The bet gets there. Now you're like, why didn't we do a bunch of home run props?
Why did we parlay the home runs? Yeah, of course. Can never be happy.
That's why we're going to be poor people. I mean, look, it's my get-rich-quick scheme. And someday I'll remember to parlay the home runs, and then you all will never see me again. All right. We'll keep you updated on everything happening in the NBA game. 4-point game, Lakers with a lead, closing few minutes of the 3rd. Will they hold on the road? We'll break it down next. Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, baby, Nico Harrison's worst nightmare. Welcome back in. It's Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Lakers starting to pull away from Minnesota a bit here. 3rd quarter, 31.8 seconds to go. Lakers up 90-82, currently laying 6.5 in game. Total up to 224.5. Will all of a sudden, 3rd quarter's been all about the Lakers, who have outscored Minnesota 32-21 out of the break.
Yeah, give them credit. I mean, they control most of the first half. The last minute or so is Gobert took a real shot to LeBron's head. Do you think they're going to review that? That looks pretty malicious. I know LeBron was being physical, but, man, you jammed the forehead into the head into the head of an opponent, especially when it's LeBron James. And LeBron is not happy about that.
No,
I wonder if they'll review that. So LeBron is fired up.
Look,
that's about as angry as you see him.
Yeah. I got to go back and watch this. I caught the tail end of it. They're reviewing it now, so we'll get a replay. But that's a Gobert who's kind of frustrated. He has been eliminated in spots in this series where he's not fitting the flow of the game. Obviously, offensively, he has 3 points today. I bet him under 7.5. I'm not sure he's going to be very involved offensively down the stretch, but I'm watching the replay now. So it was off a free throw. A miss.
Yeah, LeBron was super physical boxing him out early.
You can't throw your forearm, though.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, that's a cheap shot. That's a dirty play by Gobert.
Yeah.
What LeBron did was physical, but it was completely legal. He leaned his side and his butt into him. Gobert then took a forearm
did a little
to the head.
early. I think that's why Gobert was annoyed. I think it was before the free throw.
Sure, but that's not dirty. What Gobert did was dirty. A forearm to the back of the head. Man, French. They want war until they get war. Am I right? Shout out to World War I and II. Had to bail them out. Both
Worst thing he's done since spreading COVID on that on that day 5 years ago.
Since being patient zero in the National Basketball Association. Yeah. Let's see. Dodgers up 8-2, threatening to add more. 2 runners on for Ohtani and 2 out, and it's the bullpen for the Pirates, which even when they get their best bullpen arms in there for Pittsburgh, they seem to melt down. So they do strike Ohtani out, but it's still 8-2. We cash the team total there. The Atlanta Braves with a double or single down the line by White, and they have a runner on down 4-1 in the 7th. The A's and White Sox, shocked we have not had more scoring because I've seen a lot of hits. 7 hits for the White Sox, 5 for the A's. In top 7, it's 1-1, Will. However, I'll note, Chicago has 2 runners on and 1 out against the A's bullpen. It's so hard not to call them Oakland. And you can't call them Sacramento because that's not their name either. They're nomads. They have no home. They just bounce around like carnies all across the country. But right now, 2 runners on for Chicago, threatening to open it up. You're not used to seeing unders when it's a bad pitching matchup in that ballpark in Sacramento, though.
Yeah, I recorded this White Sox A's game. I'm going to watch it later. Might watch it a couple times, so don't spoil it for me. They did call. It looks like was it a flagrant on Gobert? I get confused sometimes on the technology. Flagrant one between the NBA and the college. I know LeBron's getting 2 free throws. He makes them both, and the Lakers, I believe, get the ball in this scenario.
They do.
That's a big turn for the Lakers here with up 10. And if you're the Lakers, if you can push this to 14, 15, fourth quarter. I don't know that Minnesota has the offense to come back. So a big stretch here where Minnesota, let's just say they can go on a 5. LeBron's getting more free throws. So they gave him a foul on top of the flagrant.
Shoot.
LeBron's here shooting a bunch of free throws. If you can push this to 14, 15, I don't know that Minnesota can come back as LeBron does miss one of them.
All right, well, we already cashed on Julius Randle today. Had over 31.5 PRA. He is at, you know what? I said it too soon. Sorry, we're at 31. 31. Need one more. Need one more from Julius Randle here. One more anything, and we will cash heading into the 4th. Yeah, Minnesota's definitely built to play with a lead with the way they defend. And they want to slow it down a little bit. They're definitely built to play with a lead. Coming back down 10. Potentially down more here because the Lakers, good ball movement from the Lakers right now, actually. Against some pretty good defense, and Reeves gets a bucket. Yeah, it's now a 12-point game with the closing seconds of the 3rd happening right now. Gobert, don't score. Gobert's going to shoot free throws. Hate to see it as someone who bet.
He's not a good free throw shooter, though.
I know, but I still bet under 7.5 points.
Yeah.
And he's
still got some wiggle room.
He's at 3 right now. So
he'll probably split these and get to 4.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. And
those cheers, by the way, I don't know if it's people behind you cheering for him or that's Adam Silver when the Lakers score. That's Adam Silver cheering because a Rockets Timberwolves round 2, which seemed possible yesterday. The Warriors win, so it's less possible. I'm sure he and a lot of other people would rather see LeBron versus Steph one more time as Gobert does knock down the first. Lakers Warriors, LeBron versus Steph is a lot different than Rockets T-Wolves. Which would actually be, from a basketball standpoint, would actually be a hell of a series and a competitive series, a feisty one, a lot of defense. But I think Steph, LeBron, from a popularity standpoint, is what a lot of people are rooting for.
You don't think there'd be quite the same hype of Dylan Brooks versus Jaden McDaniels? You don't think that gets the juices
Gobert
flowing?
knocks them both down. So.
Of course he does. So now it's a sweat. Now it's a sweat on the under. We're on under 7.5. Luckily, he's not going to hit a 3. So we just need him not to get too many more shots. He's at 5 points. Yes. He does have 10 rebounds, though. So he's been more impactful, whereas they've mitigated him at times in this series just from putting up numbers. I know he impacts the game in a variety of ways when you just watch it closely, but he's coming off of Game 3 where he had 1.3 rebounds. Game 2, he had 6.6 boards. Game 1, 2 points and 6 rebounds. So he's played a lot better today as Rudy Gobert, but hasn't been enough as we go into the fourth quarter. Lakers up by 10, 94-84, currently laying 7.5 with a total of 228.5. By the way, you want to come out to Vegas for the summer? Go all in at Circa Las Vegas. They've got the ultimate getaway package. Just $400 and you're all in. You'll get a 2-night stay at Circa, $100 in dining credit, $100 in beverage credit, and your very own day bed at Stadium Swim where the party never stops. It's all for $400. Resort fees and taxes are included. This limited time offer is valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. That's a crazy deal, $400.
How do you beat that? How do they do that? I mean, you hit up Barry's, the pool, Andiamo's. I mean, that's, in all seriousness, anyone going to Vegas, I mean, that is the deal right there.
It's a crazy deal. When you think about, I'm going to say some things about the town, not having really spent a ton of time out here prior to 2016, but Las Vegas used to be known for a deal. Used to be known that these places would hook you up with something, anyone. And I think over time, the whole town has become so much more corporate. And then you have Circa, and you have the Golden Gate, and you have the D with Derek Stevens, who's kind of bringing back the old-time Vegas feel. To get a room, get all this for $400, and then a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and a day bed at Stadium Swim, I mean, that pays for itself right there. I might do it, and I live in the town. What are we talking about here?
That's not bad.
That is a great deal.
Not bad.
But I know you were locked in, but just want to let the audience know, in the UFL game, Houston did hold on to beat San Antonio 27-3. So Houston, big winners.
Legacy game?
Yeah, it was a big one for everyone involved. A lot was on the line in terms of notoriety and what comes next. Let's see. The head coach of the Roughnecks, I believe that's Houston, is C.J. Johnson. I don't know who that person is.
Okay, I'm sure he's doing a hell of a job, though. T-Wolves, plus 400 on the money line. Would that be enough for you to take a stab on it? Plus 7.5. Does any of this interest you?
4-1's interesting because they're at home, right? The crowd's going to be on their side.
They have an 8-0 run, and then it's 2, and then you can hedge back the other way. And I thought about biting on the 4-1. I didn't bet it, but I
want to do it? Let's put a little bit on it. Let's put a little bit. Have a little bit of fun. Because you know what happens? Okay. You and I say we like something, and then we don't do it, and it happens. It comes true. So.
And it'll be tied in 3 minutes from now. I agree.
And then we won't even enjoy the end of the game. We'll just be like, I was on the air for the Mad Dog Sports Radio show. Me and Patrick Maher, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern weeknights, VSiN live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. And the Celtics were down big in the fourth. And I was like, hold on, they're 9-1 on the money line? I should bet that. By the time I could get into my account, they were down to 2.5-1, and they ended up losing the game. But had I had 9-1, then I can get creative and hedge Orlando differently. So let's do that.
They got a bad call, too, because it was a 4-point game, the ball out of bounds, and they called it out of bounds. The guy, I forget who it was on Orlando, absolutely mugged White, and they spend like 10 minutes reviewing it, and you can only review the out-of-bounds aspect of it. You can't add the foul. That should have been free throws for the Celtics, and they could have gotten closer.
What number did you just get on Minnesota?
Yeah, so we're in here.
I got plus 280. I couldn't get 4-1.
DraftKings had it. Now it's plus 380 at DraftKings.
Oh, of course.
So
got a horrible number. Whatever. We'll sweat it out.
Oh, you must have hit it because Minnesota just hit a 3 to cut it to 7, and then the Lakers answer with 1. Then Minnesota answers with 1. So we're at 97-90. So, boy, a lot of points here. A flurry of threes here early in the fourth quarter.
And that second half over. I like that as well. It feels like that's on its way. As I'm seeing the Reeves 3 for the first time to make it 97-87, which the sportsbook tells me the Timberwolves come back the other way and drain a 3. The Atlanta Braves are cutting into the Diamondbacks deficit. A single plates a run. It's now a 4-3 game in the 7th. Third period, Carolina and the Devils. It's a 1-goal contest. Man, we got a lot of drama. Let's see how it plays out. Stick with us here on Live Bet Sunday. We'll have it all covered.